You are listening to Random Gameplay Pimpin'.
What is going down? What is going down? It is your boy, Studio MacGyver, and you are listening to Random Gameplay Pimpin'. If you're new to the show, welcome to the podcast. If you're into anime, nerd culture, and most importantly, video games, you come to the right place because we talk about all of that shit here. This is podcast episode number 344. I have a few things I want to discuss with you guys. We're going to talk a little bit about what I've been playing. We're also going to talk about some DLC from God of War, just a little bit, and some bad news, but to me, it's actually more good than bad. I'm going to get into that. And also, I want to dive into a game that was hyped up for so many years and it ended up flopping, and they ended up putting warm butter out on store shelves everywhere. So without further ado, let's get into it, guys. This is going to be a short one today, but nevertheless, let's get into it. First off, let's talk about my anime watch list real quick. Not a lot going on there, but I have been watching Scott Pilgrim vs. the World on Netflix. And I said this before, I'll say it again. Netflix has been dropping anime bangers for quite some time now, guys. It's going down. If you guys have Netflix, which most of us do, and you're looking for some anime, please do not neglect Netflix for their anime. They have some awesome anime there. Yes, I'm a Crunchyroll guy, but I also go to Netflix to get some great anime over there. So I can't stress it enough. There's a lot of dope shit over there, guys. Some of my favorite anime is over there right now currently, okay? And you can't neglect it. You can't miss it. Just go over there and check it out, okay? Netflix anime goes hard, but yeah, that's really the only one I'm watching now. I have a few other ones that I'm kind of watching here and there, but I've been watching some movies this past week as well. So I'm just kind of just all over the place with that. But the one I'm really focused on right now is Scott Pilgrim versus the World. And it's also rated mature. So just be wary of that. Okay. Awesome anime though so far. Now let's talk about some Dragon Ball stuff. And this is basically me kind of going back. I'm talking about way back, 2018-ish, way back, and jumping back on Dragon Ball FighterZ. There's been so many updates since I last played myself, and I think the most recent one was going back about 3 months or so. So I went back and I stumbled upon some videos. I was watching some tournaments. I stumbled upon the talk everybody was discussing, and it's been the rollback netcode. If you're into the fighting game scene, you may know what I'm talking about. It's basically another form of connectivity. That's the best way I can describe it. If you're playing someone in another country, typically you're going to get some lag, you're going to get some frames, drops and things of that nature. But rollback netcode kind of helps to prevent that. So it's almost like playing yourself or playing somebody co-op, right there in your house on the same system where there's absolutely no lag, and it's as close as that as possible. So rollback netcode has been something that a lot of Dragon Ball Fighter fans have been wanting for so long, and a lot of other fighting fans. You got your Tekkens, you got your Street Fighters and all of these things. So to have rollback netcode on your fighting game is really something that everybody wants. And now Dragon Ball has had an open beta for that for PC, which is crazy, but it's over now. And that's what I was watching. A lot of people, a lot of my favorite YouTubers, Maximilian Dude is one of them, who plays a lot of fighting games, and he was playing the beta, and some other YouTubers were as well, and they were all loving it. Okay, a lot of people who hadn't played Dragon Ball FighterZ in a while got back in there and fell in love with it all over again. And so I took it upon myself to try to do the same. Okay, so I got back in there, learning some characters again. I forgot how how deep the gameplay could actually get once you start messing around in there. So I still got a long way to go. I did dust off some dust and some spider webs and shit, and I'm still working towards that. Okay, even got my son trying to practice and trying to learn how to play this game. So yeah, gonna get back in there, guys. It's definitely fun. I missed the game, and I found myself just falling in love with myself all over again, trying to find new teams and things of that nature. I got a couple of different squads, but right now I'm going with Goku, Super Saiyan Goku, Super Saiyan Vegeta, aka Super Vegeta, and your boy Tenshinhan. Okay, those three right there. And I'm trying to learn a little bit more about base Goku, KO King Goku, which is my favorite Goku if I had to pick one. Goku's not really a favorite of mine in the Dragon Ball universe. I do respect the man, definitely, but as far as characters go, he's not, one of my favorites. Vegeta all day, Frieza all day, and Tenshinhan all day. And then you have some runner-ups, some real close ones like Jiren and Android 16. There's some other guys in there. I also like Bardock a lot as well. So if I had a top 10 list, those guys would definitely be there. And you absolutely cannot rule out Piccolo. Piccolo is definitely one of the top tier characters on my list as well, as far as all-time favorites go. So yeah, there you have it. And then if you really want to get intricate and go a little bit deeper, we can start talking about characters from the Buu saga, the Demon King himself, Dabura. That's another one of my favorites right there. Evil Buu, which is the first Buu, the gray Buu. I don't know why I love him so much, but I just do for some reason. I also really like Kui, aka Kui, however you want to pronounce it, Vegeta's first rival, essentially. Okay, so those are some of my favorites, and I can't forget Mercenary Tao, aka Tao Pai Pai from the Dragon Ball series, man. I mean, the drip is just too real with this guy. Who else can wear pink besides Vegeta and really look swagalicious? Those two guys right there. So yeah, there's a lot of characters I fuck with in the Dragon Ball universe, and those are some of my favorites, pretty much most of my favorites. There may be one or two that aren't coming to mind right now as I'm talking, but if I'm going past the anime, which is just manga only, next, I'd have to say Granola is a character that I really resonate with. Yeah, definitely. So there's some characters out here that really pique my interest, and that's really what makes me excited if I'm going to segue into the new Dragon Ball game, because, oh man, I had a chance to look over that trailer. I saw a lot of awesome shit there. Okay. And I saw what they were trying to convey to us. I talked a little bit about this last week, but they really want us to know that this roster is going to be absolutely insane. Okay. It's already been confirmed, supposedly, that they're going to have the OG characters, which are the Dragon Ball characters. Okay. Which I'm so excited about already. And then they're going to have everybody past the Tournament of Power. So my question is, how deep are these guys actually going to go? Are they going to go into the manga? That would be so crazy. And even some people have been speculating them actually going into the Dragon Ball Heroes roster there and pulling some characters out of there. So it could get really spicy here. I think we're going to get some surprises for sure. And I'm really looking forward to like characters or transformations like Ultra Ego Vegeta and Super Saiyan God Goku and stuff like that. So really looking forward to that. I hope we get a Dragon Ball version of Tenshinhan. That'll be dope as well. I'm looking forward to playing like characters like Yajirobe. That's another one. And then so many more. So yeah, it's going to get very spicy, and who knows what they're going to give us. But if they really decide to go into the manga, it's going to get real cool. I have so many wishes on that end right there, and they could go so many different directions. So really looking forward to this, what they're going to give us. And I just can't wait, man. I really want to know when this game is coming out. I hope we get it in 2024. I think we are. And I only say that because they've been working on this, guys, for 5 years. And I think they got the bulk of it done. if you look at the trailer, it seems like it's pretty polished to me. It looks very polished. 5 years, it would definitely take them somewhere around that time to develop all these characters, especially, they all have different movesets and the transformations and even the levels and everything like that. But with Unreal Engine 5, which this game is being built upon, they've probably discovered a bunch of dope shit, okay? Messing with Unreal Engine 5 and, finding new and dope ways to make this game just pop that much more. So I'm so excited for this as a Dragon Ball fan, guys. Man, for all the newcomers who've just listened to this podcast used to be called Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast, okay? And Dragon Ball is really responsible for my love for anime. Period. Okay. It broke my anime cherry. It got me into anime. And it's the whole reason why I got curious. And this was way back in the fucking late 90s. Okay. When I didn't know what Dragon Ball was and it was just coming on TV, one random episode at a time. They didn't even give us episodes one after another. We might get episode 87 and then we get episode 116 or something like that. They didn't even give it to us in order, but I was just so enthralled by the show, the animation. I just had to find out more about it. And back then you couldn't really do all that because the internet wasn't even a thing like that. It was like dial up and shit like that. So you had to get it through magazines and stuff like that. And that's the only way I really knew about the game. I was ordering Dragon Ball games overseas and shit like that. Couldn't even read the language, but I was still playing the games, trying to figure shit out. I just loved Dragon Ball. So that got me into anime in general. And I just discovered that anime was a whole new world. And that side of the map and that side of the world, that's how they consume animation out there. It was just a completely different world. And these stories were so crazy. I loved it all. It was almost like comic books, but being animated. Okay. Back in the States, we had, Amazing Spider-Man and Friends and all that type of stuff, He-Man and some of these other cartoons, but it was never the same. Okay. Every episode was a new episode and you didn't know. You pretty much had an issue in the episode and they solved the issue by the end of the episode. Okay. And if you really wanted to get intricate, they stretched it, made it a to be continued episode. And then you got the final ending of that. So usually the most it lasts was 2 episodes. And then you come back next week and it's a completely different scenario and things of that nature. With Japan and their animation and their pretty much anime period, how it worked is a story would unfold and it would continue over the course of however long the series lasted. Okay. So you would see characters grow up. You would see some characters die. You would see some characters change tremendously and completely flip the script and all those things. And it was just so different. The characters were so layered and deep and it was watching a soap opera, but it was animated. Okay. I could go on and on about the beauty of anime and why I love it so much, but Dragon Ball is the catalyst for that whole thing in my life, period. Okay. It will always be number one because it will always have a special place in my heart because of that. Even if I do prefer certain anime story wise over Dragon Ball now. Okay. But Dragon Ball will forever always be that numero uno because of all that. But like I said, Dragon Ball games, man, I love them. Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi Part 3 was my all-time favorite Dragon Ball game. And there were so many of them. And now that we're getting this long awaited sequel, I don't even know how to contain myself. So we're going to get Budokai Tenkaichi 3 technically, but we're going to get it with more characters and we're going to get an upgrade with Unreal Engine 5. It's just going to be crazy. It's going to be absolutely outlandish. And I'm so much here for this shit. I'm so serious, guys. So I can't wait. But anyway, Dragon Ball FighterZ, I'm back on there. I'm practicing. I'm doing my thing. And I have a lot of characters that I didn't unlock. I didn't pay for. So I'm going to go back and see, even if I have the roster I don't play with, it'd still be cool to practice against them. Because if you go them against other players, man, you gotta know what they're bringing to the table. You gotta know how to kind of play that defense. And that's the main reason, if anything. So eventually I'll slowly start unlocking more characters, and who knows, I may even gravitate towards 1 or 2, but for the most part, all of my favorites have been unlocked for the most part. So yeah, having a blast playing it now. It's going down. All right. Now let's talk a little bit about this God of War Ragnarok DLC. Man, I've been hearing so much shit about this DLC, man. And I haven't downloaded it again, re-downloaded because I have so much shit on my hard drive, but I got to go through my hard drive and see what's on there and see what I'm actually playing right now. I know I'm playing Cyberpunk. I'm playing Dragon Ball, but that's a very small game. I need to go back and check that out because, man, I've been hearing some crazy shit about this, talking about unlockable skins, talking about new weapons, and even the story and lore. Okay, that's my main, that's what's piqued my interest the most, is that right there. Like, okay, are we going to get other answers? Are we going to get information that's going to lead us to the next title? And supposedly all those things are true. Now, I was watching some videos, but I had to stop myself because I didn't want to know like that. I wanted to find out on my own. So I'm guessing within the next week or so, I'm going to make it my due diligence to download God of War Ragnarok and play this DLC. I mean, there's no excuse not to. This is fucking free. I mean, what else? What else is there to do? There's nothing else to do but download this. If you guys have God of War Ragnarok, you guys need to probably do the same thing. So it's straight up free, man. It's not even $10 like the Final Fantasy DLC, which is still not a bad price in my opinion, but this is amazing. These guys are killing it. So I'm going to get into that. And that's pretty much my gaming plans. Now, there's a couple other games that I've been looking at and I found some pretty good sales already. Games that a lot of people, it didn't necessarily gel with. One is Wanted Dead. And I remember talking about this game with you guys way back early in 2023. It came out Valentine's Day 2023. All right. And it had a lot of mixed reviews. Overall score, I think it was like 6 out of 10, something like that. But it was just a quirky kind of one of those games that just isn't the best game, but it definitely has a kind of cult following to it. And I've always said that, when this price drops on this game, I'm definitely going to pick it up, add it to the collection and give it a go, because it's just this female cyborg character with a sword and guns, and she's just going ape shit crazy. She has finishers and all of that. And it's just something that I definitely want to play. And I may end up really loving the game. And so at $20, hey, you can't fucking beat that. So that's a game that's on my radar. That's really on my radar right now. And Eternights is another one. It's only $30 out the gate. If I can get that one for 20, that's another winner. So after Christmas, these are some games that I'm looking forward to kind of get into myself and kind of play when I have some more downtime and I just want to play something new. Okay. That's kind of like where I'm headed. And then there's another game, and I don't know why I can't think of the name of this game right now, but it was a Square Enix game and it was a female protagonist and it was a bunch of magic and all this shit going on. I can't remember the fucking name of the game, but I seen it at GameStop. They had a sale like Black Friday, and I think it was like $17 or something like that. And I should have picked it up then, but I think GameStop is going to have another sale. I think they said right before Christmas. So I'm going to go back in there. And if it's still sitting there, I'm definitely going to pick that one up too. Now, those are the pluses when it comes to buying physical games. Okay. You can get these games physical when these prices drop on here. It's cool. So I guarantee if I try to go get the same games digital right now, you're going to pay double the price, maybe even more than that. Okay. And you have to catch those on certain days and certain sales. But me, I'm still kind of a physical media guy, even though we're talking about PS5 here. I know, but I still like it. Maybe I get lucky and some of these games are actually on the disc, and if not, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully when all this happens and these games are vaporware, there's a server for us to go and download these updates if we need to, or maybe we want to play PlayStation 5 when we have a 6 or a 7 one day and we want to have a place to go get all that stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm just throwing that out there, letting you guys know about that. But anyway, those are the games right now that are kind of like on my radar to go pick up on a discount. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much it as far as what I've been playing right now. So other than that, I'm definitely going to be looking forward to starting, I can't believe I'm saying this, but starting an Xbox 360 collection. Yes, I'm going to be participating in that because a certain somebody is getting a Series X for Christmas, which is my son. So yeah, I already got that put up. We're going to do all those things, wrap it, all that shit. I think he's still awake, so I'm trying to keep it on the low. But anyway, now it's time to go make that move. And, I heard some people, and I hear it all the time. I hear it all the time, man. I follow this guy, King Thrash Game, and dude is a character. Dude is a PlayStation guy, but it's just fun to listen sometimes to the banter of some of these guys going back and forth with each other, man, about Xbox versus Sony. It's really not Nintendo. Nintendo's kind of like on the sideline, like, we're doing our own thing here. We're not the same. We're not even close. So we're just kind of chilling over here in the back. But most of the time you hear Xbox versus PlayStation. But me personally, I really truly believe that every system has its place, and Xbox included, guys. Like some people, say that Game Pass doesn't really count, but I think it absolutely counts, especially when you have games like Persona 3 Reloaded coming free for the Game Pass and stuff like that coming, giving people an opportunity to try a lot of these games, third-party games especially. I think it's really good, especially the fact that, let's just keep it real, the Xbox Series X is a pretty beefy system, and it can do a lot. And it can definitely make your gaming experience pretty dope. And I'm talking about third-party games, okay? And then let's keep it real also. Xbox does have their first-party games. Older they may be, but they still have them. And that's kind of like why I kind of want to do the Xbox 360 kind of collection, and even some Xbox games too, but mainly 360, because that was the pinnacle of that console, in my humble opinion. Like, at that time, Xbox was winning. They were the main system, the go-to system. They had their problems, of course, the red ring of death and all of that. But now it's basically like saying, hey, instead of buying an Xbox 360, just get the Xbox Series X and then go get your Xbox 360 games and, collect it there. And then a lot of them will have where you can put them in and you can get them HD'd up, and certain things, they come with certain updates or whatever. So that's cool too. But yeah, that's really my incentive now to go ahead and start hunting for some of these Xbox 360 games. And that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to be playing his whenever I get a chance. Maybe he's at school or something and I'm just doing my thing. And eventually I'm going to upgrade my Xbox Series S and get a Xbox Series X as well. And I'm saying all this also because a friend of mine has been playing Ark Survival, and some of you guys may know about this game. But anyway, he's got it for PlayStation 5, and he's also got it for the Xbox Series X. And he recently, he had an Xbox Series S, and he recently upgraded it. And he said, man, yeah, I went and upgraded it. And man, let me tell you, the difference is real. Okay. It's like almost night and fucking day. And he said it's even crispier, even if just by a little bit, slightly crispier than the PlayStation 5 version. I was like, yo, really? He was like, yes. He said, yes, it is. So he's playing it on both. So I guess he's got one server. He's doing PvP on, I think, the Xbox. And then I think he's doing PvE on PlayStation 5. So that made me take another look, and I'll definitely get a chance to really look when Christmas comes and I can see my son's shit and how it works and rolls and stuff like that. And then that'll definitely give me some more incentive to go ahead and make that trade in. You feel me? So yeah, but definitely, man, Xbox has its place, man. And everybody's shit is different. Everybody's reasoning is different. And for me, that is my reasoning behind the Xbox is Game Pass, and also collecting older games now, being able to do that. And then some of their IPs that only Xbox has, they still have their own IPs as well. So you have your Forza, which I'm really not a Forza player, but you also have some of these other games like the Halos and things of that nature. So yeah, man. And then also being able to go back and play, Starfield on the X as opposed to the S. Definitely may see some improvements there as well. So looking forward to some of those things. And those are my reasons personally. I mean, I'm sure other people out there have theirs, but that's mine. And I've been enjoying Game Pass so far since I've been having it. And I've had it since my son had his Xbox One, and it's been cool, man. It's been really, really cool. I've got a chance to play a lot of games that I did not before, like the Yakuza games, man. I'm enjoying myself right there, right now on the S. So I can't complain, and I'm having a blast with it. So those are my reasons. Now, we all know about Sony and what Sony's capable of and why I love Sony. And that is my favorite system is Sony. And the reason why is because their relationships with Japan and all of those games that they bring to the table. They just have so many, and it looks like they're probably going to end up buying out Square Enix pretty soon. It's probably within the next year. Don't be surprised if you hear Sony buying out the Square Enix, man. I'm not going to be surprised at all, personally. Just keep your eyes open. It may happen. But yeah, they have games that, they have awesome games. Awesome first person games. Awesome first party games. Let me change that up a little bit. But yeah, their games are awesome. And Aloy, come on, you can't touch it. That's one of the best games out there. Okay. Ghost of Tsushima. I mean, god damn. And we're not even going to talk about the online. So I'm telling you, brilliant games out here. Spider-Man, Miles Morales, which I have, not played the second Spider-Man game, but will eventually play it, and so on and so forth, man. It's just so many things that they have, and they're still going to be coming out with. So I'm excited. I'm very excited, and I have a place for everything, Nintendo included as well. Okay. There's so many different IPs that Nintendo has, and you guys know that as well, and that they're going to continue to have. So I'm having a blast with everything right now. Okay. I'm just not doing PC because PC, I explained this, but it's just, for me personally, it's just too much maintenance. Okay. I'm simple when it comes to games. Let me buy a system or buy a game, put it in and fucking play it. All right. And leave it there. That's it. And that's all. Let's get on with the get on and the Tekken 8 community. If you are part of the Tekken 8 community, you probably already know this, but there's a fucking demo out right now for Tekken 8. I downloaded the demo, have not played it yet. Didn't have a chance to play it, but I can't wait to get my hands on it. I don't even know what it all entails, but I've been watching a lot of Tekken gameplay and Tekken YouTubers, and everybody's loving this game, yo. These fighting games this year and next year are going to be crazy. They've definitely trying to find ways to up the last game before that. And they're doing a great job so far. Street Fighter has done a phenomenal job, minus the overpriced costumes and shit that they've been pulling out warm butter on all of the Street Fighter fans doing. But other than that, man, it's been phenomenal. Tekken 8 looks to be no different, and it's definitely coming out. I think it's January. I want to say January. When is this? Sometime in January is coming out. Okay. I want to say 22nd, but I could be wrong. But I'm definitely looking forward to that one as well. It's going to take everything in me not to pick that one up, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. So we'll see though. I love my fighting games. So we'll find out what happens then. But yeah, definitely check out the Tekken 8 demo, guys. If you have not, it's available. It's available for you to pick up and play. All right. Now let's talk about this game that goes by the name of The Day Before. Now, some of you guys may know about this game. Some of you may not, but this game has been hyped for so many years. They've been working on this game for like 5 years plus. All right. I remember all the trailers and all this, and they just hyped it up as a survival MMO. Okay. And that's what everybody was excited about. It kind of reminded me of a Division game, but it being MMO and it being survival. Okay. And having zombies and all that kind of shit in there. So that's what I thought it was going to be. And that's what a lot of people probably assumed it was going to be. And that's what they were kind of selling to the community and to the masses. But it turns out the shit just went belly up. Okay. The game was, I think, out for about 4 or 5 days, and 4 or 5 days after the launch. Okay. I think the team is called Fantastic. I think that's what it is. Their team, the devs and stuff. But anyway, they basically said, hey, yo, look, we failed financially on this. We just failed. Okay. And I think it's one of the 10 worst games of all time. Okay. Reviewed games. Yeah, it's really bad. It's supposedly really buggy. It's got a lot of issues. And they said that the money that they made is basically being used to pay off all the debt. Just a lot of shit went south with this game. And they also say they can't even afford to patch the game. And it's really extremely broken, and it's in disarray, and it would cost them too much money to try to work on patches and stuff like that. And that's my thing with the gaming as it is today, man. It's a different beast now. It's almost like it's intended. This is just how the game cycle works. Like you put a team on a fucking game. They make the game. The game is given a release date. When the release date comes out, they're already working on the patches. So they don't have enough time to fully flesh out the game and fully test out the game, right? All this has to be done post-release. And then they end up putting out patches, sometimes for months, sometimes for years. Okay. So many patches. I mean, Cyberpunk's still putting out patches, right? So it's that crazy. If you don't have a notable team, it's not going to work, because you're not going to be able to afford to continue to do that. And it's going to segue into something else here on this episode that I want to talk about. So I'm going to get to that in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, but that's what you hate to hear. But that's just how it works nowadays. I mean, I grew up in a time where, you bought a game and that was the game. Okay. There were no patches. And then I was able to see it all. I was able to see the transformation of the gaming community, the gaming world. I was here for the beginning of it, and I'm seeing it manifest into something else. There's a lot of good in that, and there's a lot of bad. I always say that patches, I don't necessarily like them, but I know they're necessary. And without them, a lot of these games would just be pieces of shit, and never able to just fix themselves. And that's just what it is. When you have games that are so complicated and need so many people and to make them now, you're gonna miss things. You're gonna need to go back and correct things. There are gonna be crazy scenarios that were never able to be calculated. And some random guys found it accidentally. He moved a certain way at a certain part of the map, and it just triggered something that nobody could have tested for. And there you have another issue. So you send that off to them, they get the fucking issue, and then they were able to go back and fix that. So that never happens again, and so on and so forth. So it's just more complicated because it's a complicated game now to make. These games are complicated as fuck. So you're going to have huge teams, and you're going to have all these things that have to happen. So it's almost like it's a necessary evil to have patches now. As a avid gamer and somebody who loves his retro games too, it does feel good sometimes to just go back and play an older game and not worry about none of that shit and just pick it up and play it. If it's a glitch in the game, it's just a glitch that the game has, period. You know what I mean? So that's just where I stand on it. And it's very complicated. It's not just black and white. It's definitely a lot of gray areas when you're talking about patches and all that stuff. But this team is not able to afford that. It was just, it was very bad. It just didn't come together right. And that's what happens when you overhype shit and you doctor up trailers and you spread warm butter across everything, and the lights are always turned down low. And then you can smell the endo sticks in the air. You have, a lot of devs smoking sherm in the bathrooms. And when you add all that up together, the butter, the sherm, the endo sticks, and the sake as well, filled to the brim, you're going to get stuff like this. And this is going to happen. So I'm just being honest, guys. The writing was on the wall with this game. And that's just what it is. Okay. The game even came out differently than what they told us it was going to be. Like I said, it was supposed to be a survival MMO, but it ended up being an extraction game. Okay, an extraction shooter. That's what we're looking at now. So yeah, it's just all over the place. A shitty mess. The crazy thing is you can't even buy the game now. It's not purchasable. If you wanted to go buy and say, you know what, I'll check it out. I think the game's going for like $40, but so many people wanted their refunds back. So they've probably been giving a shit ton of refunds back. And now they said, you know what, we're not even going to sell this, because why sell it and then have to go through the process of turning right back around and refunding this shit? It's not worth it. So they're not even selling it anymore. And that's where we're at. That's where everyone's at on it now. And just another one bites the dust, man. All that wasted time, all those years gone down the drain. They just ran out of money and time, and people are on their backs, investors and things of that nature. And that's what happens when you just throw shit together, and that's what you get. Period. It is what it is. It's sad, man. A lot of people had high hopes for this game. A lot of people really looked forward to this, and this is one of those games that didn't make it. You can probably put that out there with the Little Devils Inside and games like that, Beyond Good and Evil 2, those games will probably never come out. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, because those are really two highly anticipated games. They may end up scrapping Beyond Good and Evil 2 and just going with Unreal Engine 5 and maybe being able to get it done, but we're talking about years to come. I hope they don't scrap it though. But the only good thing about that is no one said that the game is completely dead. We just have radio silence. Now, if they came out and said, oh, we're done, we're not going to be able to proceed anymore, that would be the end, in my opinion. But we haven't got any of those things from the makers of Little Devil Inside or Beyond Good and Evil 2. And then you also have multiple systems that these games are coming out on. So that's probably another huge hurdle that a lot of these devs are finding themselves in deep water when we're talking about that. It's a bloody mess out here in these video game streets. Sometimes it is, man. Some of these guys forget to pack the pistol out here in these video game streets, and the butter is definitely on the table. It is, okay? But anyway, let's get off of that and let's get to the last lecture at hand. I want to talk about The sad but sweet news. Now, I'm going to explain why, and I'm talking about Naughty Dog, and I'm talking about The Last of Us online game / Factions 2, whatever you want to call it. They finally come out and they finally admitted it and told everybody. We regret to inform everyone, but this game is being canned. Okay, it's axed, it's dead. We're not going to continue with this game. We've basically stopped working on this game, and a lot of people were upset about that. A lot of people were really mad, and it's cool to be a fan and be upset about that, especially a lot of the Factions players who was really looking forward to playing that, me included, because I definitely loved Factions, and it was one of those surprise modes in the game that nobody saw coming, and I thought it was just there for, a little decoration, just a little something extra, and it ended up being something way more than that and creating a whole new community, and it got a lot of people excited, and especially when they announced it, and we just were like, wow, I can't believe we're getting this faction stuff. Here's why I say it's bittersweet, and I say it's more good than bad, personally, in my opinion at least, is because they basically broke down why they had to axe the game. Now, this game, they said they were working on this at the same time that they were working on The Last of Us 2, which The Last of Us 2 came out in 2020. So they've been working on this for a handful of years, okay, easily. All right. And they said that they've learned a lot, okay, in the process of making all this stuff. And they have a lot of things that they can kind of put in their pocket for future releases. Okay. And that's the thing. When you work on certain shit and you're just all in like this, you're going to learn a lot. And they said that the progress was very good. But the problem was they wanted the game to be an online game. And when you talk about online games, you're talking about post-production. Okay, so once the game comes out, you continually have to work on that game because you have to keep working on DLC. You have to keep working on things you add in, like, okay, new outfits, new weapons, new villains, new enemies, all these things, new modes even. Like, that is its own entity in itself. So most people, casuals, don't understand that, hey, why can't you just finish the game? Well, there's a lot that go into it. You have to keep your whole team on a project like this. Anytime you're dealing with an online game, there's all kinds of updates. There's all kinds of things there. So you have to basically have all of your attention on that said game. All right. And that was taking away from the production of the other titles that they have been working on, which are multiple titles. So not just one, they're working on at least 2 other single player story driven games. Shit that Naughty Dog is known for out here in these video game streets. Shit that made them who they are. One of my favorite dev companies, period, video game devs ever in the fucking world. They are one of the greatest video game devs teams out here, man. I'm not, I'm not playing with when I say that shit, man. I swear to God, they have some of the best production I have ever fucking seen in a video game. All right. I mean that. I played The Last of Us 2 on a base PlayStation 4 and it ran like fucking parquet butter. Buttery smooth. All right. It was delicious. And I replayed it on the PlayStation 5 and it even got better. That team is just fucking one of the best. And I don't care who fucking doesn't agree with that. But I can't wait to see what they have in store for us with these single player games. I hope we get a Last of Us 3. And to be honest with you, they said another IP. So I cannot wait to see what this new IP is going to be. I'm just excited, period. Last of Us is one of my favorite franchises ever. And I love it to death. But anyway, fuck, I got a light buzz. I got a buzz on my microphone. Okay, that was gay. But anyway, we're back. Oh man, I need a new sound card bad. I have had the same sound card since like 2010. Man, yeah, that's a long fucking time. So I need to get another sound card. So mark that on the list. Studio MacGyver, get you another fucking sound card. Yeah, I've been rocking the same one. Anyway, yeah, Naughty Dog is one of my favorite devs, period. And the Naughty Dog, they're just awesome. And The Last of Us franchise is one of my favorite all time, period. I hope I explained why they're not going to be able to make it good enough for you guys. But that's pretty much the gist of it. It would take their whole entire team and they just wouldn't be able to work on anything else. They would have to maintain that online presence. They would have to just maintain it and continue that. So they said they'd rather focus on what they're known for, which is single player, story driven narratives, and work on that and give us what they've always been giving us, hits, nothing but fucking hits. For me, that's a beautiful thing. Yes, I'm sad that we're not going to get factions and they can't do it all, of course. But at the same time, I still love who Naughty Dog is. I mean, Naughty Dog to me is somebody who makes awesome fucking single player games. And that's pretty much what they've known for. They haven't released this game yet. So if you go to look at their catalog, that's what they fucking do. Now they do have had online modes before. And some may say, well, why haven't they just made the factions and just left it at that? You know, don't add anything else. Just keep it like that. And I'm guessing they may still do something with that. And it may be just kind of like what they did with the last factions game, where they give us a Last of Us 3 or something, right? And then we get like a factions with it, but it's not a continuous game. In other words, we get the server and we just keep the server. They don't give us any updates, or maybe they give us an update, you know, once a year, twice a year type of thing, you know, when they have a small team working on that type of stuff or whatever. Now they may be able to do something like that, but as far as just a constant update and a constant just adding things and doing things like that, I think that's not in their warehouse, and they're not really trying to do that. That's not who they are. I'm glad that they've at least come out and let us know about this and gave us this information, because they said they're so excited to show us what they've been working on. And I can't wait to see what it is. And I really want to know when it's coming out, to be honest with you guys. So yeah, they gave us the update. I mean, we have the remaster coming up. So we'll see what happens then. And I think we'll be able to take some stuff from there and maybe look at stuff down the line in the future and see what we may get a chance to play then. But that's going to do it for the show. I want to thank everybody from coming out, downloading, streaming, and my sound card is starting to go out on me. So yeah, I'm going to have to go shopping ASAP for another sound card this week probably. But anyway, guys, thank everybody for coming out, listening. I love you all dearly. Don't forget to check out all my handles, guys. Check me out on YouTube and subscribe. If you're listening to this podcast, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I got content every day now at Random Gameplay Pimpin' on YouTube. So yeah, 7 days a week, baby. We got content. Check out. Also, you can check me out on TikTok. I don't have as much. I usually put about 2 or 3 pieces of content out over there. So definitely check me out there. Also check out DragonBallDrip.com. Check out all the Dragon Ball shit there. So I have a lot of stuff going on, guys, and I'm going to keep moving. So without further ado, I'm going to bow out gracefully, and I will see you guys next week. And this is your boy, Studio MacGyver, and you have been listening to Random Gameplay Pimpin'. See you next time.